Hi, so today I'm here to talk about something which is very personal to me, but at the same time, it's one of the common or the most found issue that we deal with, and that is the anxious mind, which leads to anxiety. Now, there's so much talks about anxiety, yet I'm here to talk about something which I have experienced and how have I dealt with my anxious mind, and I'm just sharing what I have uh, related to anxiety, right? So, whenever either we or we see somebody around us going through anxious part in their life or the anxiety part in their life, we see or we read about it that work on your thoughts, and you will be able to work with an anxious mind. Work with the mindfulness technique, work with meditation, work with lot of things which are mental, right? So we tend to work with anxiety through mind, but the thing or the problem that is there is that anxiety is not related to thoughts directly. It is related to emotions. uh, so for that we have to actually go back and understand what is anxiety and how it is caused. So, just starting with Krishna's saying, where he says that all you need is light, and once you have the light, the darkness will go, because you will understand that the dark and the light is part of one. So, basically, when we get the light of knowledge or gyan, uh, everything becomes clear, right? So, on that note, we'll understand what anxiety is and how it was caused and what is its role in our evolution. So, for that, let's go back to the animal tendency that we are coming from. So, in the beginning, when we were animals, like the way we see animals, uh, there are a lot of tendencies that we have picked up from that time, right? And though it is we see it in the physical body also, there are so many body parts which are redundant now, it's of no use, yet we are still holding on to. In the similar way, we are holding on to a lot of emotional responses that are ancestral animal tendencies basically are coming from there. So, what happens is that animals were in the survival mode. They were in the jungle where they could be eaten up, and hence they had to be always alert and active, and their response to the survival has to be always active. So, the thing called fight and flight mode or response, it was very active in animals, because animals had to, the moment they sense, they were very active in their sense organs, right? And then but the moment they would sense some danger, the body would react and tell them to take an action. Now remember, we are talking about the times when even the animals did not had language, or the language was, it was not quicker, it was more bodily, it was more felt in the body, and hence the reactions used to come, right? And there were no thoughts, it was more instincts. So, hence we come to an understanding that anxiety is not coming from thoughts. It is coming from thoughts, but it's not directly related to thoughts, it is more related to emotions. Now, why emotions? Because emotions come are very subjective, right? It's a kind of it's a subjective interpretation. So, say the word love, if I say word love, it would send a different kind of feeling in me, it would sense a good different kind of feeling to each one of us differently, right, based on our set of experiences. Hence emotions are such, right, they are very subjective interpretation. Now, uh, when the body is reacting, or the senses, so the senses are kind of sending a response, it will go to the brain, it'll go to the mind, and the mind will interpret it based on my personal experiences or subjective interpretation. It'll pass the kind of emotions, right? And hence we say that is how emotions are, and anxiety is part of that. Now what happens is that uh, the thoughts, basically the thoughts, what the thoughts do is, once that goes to the brain, the thought will shift the physical, it'll send little changes, or it'll shift something in the body, and hence the body will understand that it needs to react. So the problem with working with anxiety is that most of the time when we see somebody struggling with anxiety, the first thing that person is told that, work on your mind, work on your thoughts, work with mindfulness, work with even journaling. That is what I also suggest, but that's different. When we're talking about anxiety, it has to be dealt differently, and then we can go towards the thought part. It's not like that we don't work on thoughts. We have to work on thoughts, but there are certain parts which are very emotional, and hence we have to first deal with this emotional part, and once this comes down to a balanced state, we can switch to the thoughts, because ultimately thoughts are to be worked on. So it's like balancing of the emotions and the thoughts. But when it's about anxiety, we have to first understand that most of the time working with thoughts doesn't work in anxiety. In fact, what happens is, because uh, once you understand the core, right, and then you'll understand that how to move about. So once you understand that anxiety is coming from emotions, and emotions are felt in the body, you can actually understand that the moment you're getting anxious, the anxious mind is getting active, just sit with yourself and feel which part of the body you're feeling that emotion, right? Because it's actually stored in the body part, and I've been talking about, and I'll be talking more about that, how emotions are stored in our various body parts, right? And not only this birth, it's like from many births that we've been storing in the causal body, and how it get converted. But in short and simple, if you want to understand, we store emotions in our body parts, and once we understand which body part is storing my this particular emotion related to anxiety, that is causing me anxiety. Because of course my anxiety could come from something else, your anxiety would come from something else, but the moment I start understanding that my body feels emotions, this particular emotion on my shoulder, or on my stomach, or on my left part of the brain, or the right part of the brain, it is telling you something very specific, you actually can start working with that. So we will be doing loads and loads of exercises related to this, but today I just wanted to make you aware that anxiety doesn't come from thoughts, and that is why even when we work on thoughts, it takes so long to get rid of anxiety, and it keep coming back, because it's not the core. The core is emotions, working with the emotions. So yes, this is what I had for today. This is just first part of anxiety, and we'll do loads and loads of very easy doable exercises. I'll talk about vagus nerves, because that is one part which has helped me a lot in my migraine, and my migraine was actually had come from anxiety. And yes, we will be talking loads and loads about it. So bye, have a great weekend. See you guys.